Call to order the Ames Parks and Recreation Commission meeting for Thursday, August 15th. First on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from our June 20th Parks tour. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from June 20th.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes from June 20th, 2019, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, next on the agenda is the public forum. This is for items not on the agenda. If there are any community members who wish to speak on items not on the agenda, please approach the podium at this time. Seeing none, we'll close the public forum. Now is the next item is the director's report. Keith?
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. So the first item is we have the Iowa Parks and Recreation Fall Workshop, which is the Iowa Parks and Recreation is our state association, has a number of members throughout the state. And they have two general education sessions or gatherings. One is a fall workshop and then one is a spring conference. This year, in 2019, we are hosting our fall workshop, and that's coming up. And Kelly's going to go through more information with the dates and everything. But Kelly is our contact, and she has put a team together of city employees as well as some other local parks and recreation agency members. So I just want to give kudos to Kelly for coordinating everything. She's done a fantastic job, together her and her team put together a great lineup of speakers and different activities and so on. So she's been doing a tremendous job. Josh was on the team as well and helping out with things. So I'll turn it over to Kelly and let her give you more information about the workshop.
Thanks, Keith. As Keith mentioned, we are hosting the fall workshop here in Ames on September 9th through the 11th. The workshop, the educational sessions will be at the Quality Inn and Suites on 13th Street. We are excited to host it. We haven't hosted it for 10 years. So it's been a long time coming to get back to Ames for the fall workshop. So there's many components of the fall workshop. The first one, and the most important probably to most people maybe, is the educational sessions. We offer a number of different sessions, from park sessions to recreation sessions to facility sessions to leadership to time management. So there are a number of sessions. There's 18 in total across the 2 days. The educational sessions start on Tuesday morning, and then they conclude Wednesday morning by noon time. So educational sessions is one component. We do have tours. So there are two tours on Tuesday afternoon. The first tour will be Ames facilities. So we're excited to take participants across the city and look at, we're going to stop at the Lowhead Dam, which you guys saw in your tour. We're going to stop at the Miracle Playground. We're going to go up to Ada Hayden, and Jim is going to talk to them about Ada Hayden. So we're excited to have that. We're going to go to Roosevelt Park, and Stacy Ross is going to join us at that park to talk about, the partnership and the Friends group. And then we're fortunate to go down to the Tedesco Environmental Learning Corridor. In Story County, staff members are going to meet us there and go over that park and that project. So we're excited about the Ames tour. As Keith mentioned, part of the planning committee also involves cities around us. So Story City and Nevada have been on the planning committee as well. So the second tour will be Story City and Nevada. So they'll start in Story City. They'll go look at their newer aquatic center. I think this is the second or third year of operation. They're going to get to go look at the historic carousel and ride it. And I know they're going to be doing some work on it this fall, but if it's operational, they get to ride it. Then they're going to head over to Nevada and look at Score Complex, their new baseball field, their aquatic center, and then also a new piece of equipment they got for dragging their ball fields. So two tours offered. And then we have socials. We have a Monday evening social at Torrent Brewery. And then Tuesday we're at Ryman Gardens. And the theme at Ryman Gardens right now is toys and games. So we thought that was very fitting that we happen to be there for our social on Tuesday night. Monday afternoon is our golf outing at Vinker Golf Course. So participants can register and play golf, a best ball format. So hopefully we're hoping for a good day for that at Vinker. We're super excited about our keynotes. If you see in the brochure that I passed out to all of you, our keynotes are Adi Pomaswai from Keith heard him speak at another event and highly recommended him. So he's going to be the morning keynote, and then he's going to do a educational session followed by that. And then our lunch keynote is Lindsay Finley. So we're excited to have Lindsay join us and talk to the delegates at lunch. We're offering an invitation if you guys are available to attend for any part of the session. If you want to go to the educational part, let us know. We'll get you registered. If you can come to one or both of the socials, if you want to go on a tour, if you just want to come for lunch on Tuesdays, let us know and we'll make the arrangements. Make sure that you're registered and ready to go. But we sure enjoy having you join us for any and all of the fall workshop.
And I would say too, is generally about 125 parks and recreation professionals that we'll get across the state. And one of the things, with the nice thing with what Kelly mentioned with the tours is you do get people from large communities, you get to people from small communities. So the option of having kind of a small community tour along with an Ames tour is really a good option for the people that will be attending.
Is there one part of the conference that you would encourage us to go to more than others, do you think?
I mean, I think if you could go to lunch, that'd be great because we could introduce you. I know the mayor's going to be there and he's going to introduce Miss Finley as a keynote, but we'd love to introduce you. And obviously the Park and Rec Commission has been very supportive of us and our programs and our activities. So, I mean, if we could introduce you, or if you want to come to one of the socials, we can introduce you there as well. But yeah, any presence would be great if you guys are able to make it.
Thanks.
Any other questions about the workshop or? I'd just like to thank the committee for all their hard work, Joshua and Jill and Rhonda from Story City and Jenny from Story City and Rhonda from Nevada, and then Kelly and Steve from Iowa Parks and Recreation Association and Kylie from Adele. They've been a great team to work with.
Great. So it looks like a great program.
All right. Very good. If no other questions, we'll go on to the item 4B, which is the commission action form for Ames Cyclone Aquatics Club request. And Kelly will walk you through that one as well.
Thanks, Keith. In front of you, Commission, you have the commission action form for ACAC, Ames Cyclone Aquatics Club, to utilize the Furman Aquatic Center in the summer of 2020 for their annual swim meet. I'll just give you a little brief wrap up of this year's meet. This year was the 10th annual ACAC meet. We thought it was a great meet. Okay. Staff, the leadership team from ACAC, we thought things worked well. There was great communication beforehand, during the meet, after the meet, between staff and the ACAC leadership. We thought the meet directors were fantastic. They did a number of things to address swim meet participant concerns. I know at one point they said, wow, now we understand what you guys go through on a daily basis. So we appreciated their efforts. We thought the parking lot crew that they had was fantastic. And I'm not kidding you when I say they stopped every single vehicle coming into that facility to see what they were doing. And if they were associated with the meet, they directed them to Haber or to the high school. So that left plenty of parking for our patrons who wanted to use the splash pool or the lazy river. So that was awesome. They did a really nice job. The one hiccup we did have was ACAC told swim meet participants they could come in at 1:00 p.m. on Friday to start setting up their tent, preparing for warm-ups. Well, some of them thought that meant noon, 12:30, 11 a.m. And when staff said, nope, not till 1, they got a little huffy with staff, and ACAC leadership team came over and addressed it. And I know one person threatened and said, fine, we're not going to swim in your meet. And they said, well, that's fine then. You don't have to, obviously. She swam, or her son swam, but that was one thing. But other than that, there wasn't a lot of issues. We still have a few people jumping into the pool, whether it's the lazy river or the splash pool without paying, swim meet participants or family and friends. We do stamp participants, but we still do have an issue with that. Not as bad this year as years past, but We continue to address that, and we'll always continue to address the parking during the meet at Furman. But like I said, parking didn't seem to be an issue this year at all. ACAC has requested June 5th, 6th, and 7th of 2020 for their swim meet. The agreement will be the same as this year and years past. Use of the 50-meter pool only. They can use the lazy river for warm-ups and cool down prior to us opening. Or if there's inclement weather, rain, or we're closed because it's cool, they can use it then with our approval. They'll pay for the lifeguards. We'll sell all the concessions, and we'll meet in April of next year to finalize all the details of the meet. We do go through the emergency action plan with their leadership team the week of or the week prior to the meet, so they know what should happen in the event of an emergency. So we'll continue that process. I'm not going to run through all the alternatives with you. Going to go through alternative number one, which is what staff is recommending, is renting the 50-meter basin of the Furman Aquatic Center at $500 per day on June 5th, 6th, 7th, 2020 to ACAC for their youth swim meet. That is a $75 increase from this past year. As you can see in one of the paragraphs above, if they were paying the normal rental fee, the total would be $6,150 for the duration of the meet. So we're recommending $500 per day, in addition to the lifeguards staffing. Allow you ACAC to utilize Lazy River for warm-ups and cool down when Furman is not open for normal operations, and reimburse the city for the lifeguards. And then reserving the proposed dates and related times for ACAC to host a swim meet at the Furman Aquatic Center in 2021. And the date will be determined by ACAC and awarded by the Swimming Institute, and would be evaluated at the end of next year's meet. So alternative number one is staff's recommendation. This was the 10th year of the meet. We had very few people complain about the 50-meter pool not being accessible that weekend. We hardly had any parking issues, if any. So we don't think it's unreasonable to allow them to use the 50-meter pool for the weekend. Be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, would anyone like to make a motion?
A motion we approve option one.
In a second? Second.
I'll second.
Okay, 2 seconds. Any further discussion on the commission action form?
I
Okay.
will need to abstain from the vote.
Okay,
I need to abstain also.
2 abstainers. Whew, I think we still have a quorum, so. Can we get a vote on approving alternative 1 to rent the 50-meter basin of Furman Aquatic Center for $500 a day on the weekend of June 5th, 6th, and 7th, 2020 for the ACAC Youth Swim Meet? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. So, okay.
Very good. Thank you, Kelly. The next item is request to waive enforcement of prohibition of motorized vehicles in Ada Hayden Heritage Park. The commission action form kind of spells through everything. The last several years, the commission has approved, this. Well, you don't have the authority to waive an ordinance. So with this one, what you do is you make a recommendation to city council, and then we'll take this to city council at their next meeting, and then they will approve or not approve the waiver of the enforcement. So it's a great event. We have Friends of Ada Hayden Group have been doing it. They rent the carts. They provide us with insurance, certificate of insurance. They do all of the things. They provide the tour guides. Very overwhelming support for the event. A lot of positive comments. So with staff, we do recommend alternative 1, which is that the commission recommends city council waive enforcement of ordinance 19.9 between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. on Thursday, September 12th is the date that they chose, as well as Friday, September 13th, if needed for a rain date at Ada Hayden Heritage Park, to allow the Friends of Ada Hayden Heritage Park to provide golf cart tours to mobility impaired individuals. So we think it's a good thing.
Jim Pease from the Friends of Ada Hayden, if you'd like to say anything about this event.
I can't quite hear.
Sorry.
You were asking me to come up here, so yeah.
Yeah, just if you have any words, just state your name and address for the record, and then.
Jim
if you have any
Pease,
words.
I'm president of Ada Hayden Heritage Park. I live at 3840 Stagecoach Road. So, yeah, if you have any questions about it, I've served for the last several years as one of the drivers and the guides, the interpretive guides, and you have to come out and see what the reaction of the people is. I think you really find it fun. Most of them, it's their only chance to really get out into the park because they're mobility impaired, and it's a really fun way to get them around. We talk about the prairie plants. We talk about the, whatever we see in the sky overhead. We've had ospreys and eagles go over, and they're just so excited. It's a really, really fun day. So, but we do need, because of the prohibition on vehicles in the park, we do need your recommendation to the council to do that.
Great. Yeah, from what I understand, it's always a sellout event. You always have all of your slots filled up.
I'm sorry.
You always have all of your slots filled up well in
Yes.
advance.
Yeah, we do.
Always a
And,
big event, yeah.
We've contacted some agencies or some of the homes so far, saying these are the possible, the tentative dates. We're hoping that it'll get approved, but just so that they could get it on their calendars as well.
Great.
But we haven't promised them anything yet, but we said these are the hopeful dates. So.
All right. Do we have a motion to waive the vehicular, to recommend to city council to waive the vehicular motorized vehicle ordinance at Ada Hayden on September 11th or 12th and 13th?
So moved.
Second. All in favor of alternative one, to recommend to the city council to waive the enforcement of motorized vehicles, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries.
you.
Thank you, Jim.
Hey, thanks, Jim. All right, next item is request for a fee reduction for Tons of Fun softball tournament. As part of the materials that were sent, in addition to the commission action form, there's a letter from Mike Bryant in regards to, who's been the tournament host for a number of years, over 30 years, held here at the North River Valley Softball Complex, South River Valley Softball Complex. So it kind of went through, just a little bit of with it. So, and you can see just I went from 2014 through 2018 listed in the commission action form, what he'd been paying, 280, and then they were flooded to 1 year, and then 360 for 3 years. So with this, in 2017, we did look at all of our fees, and we were looking at our events up at Ada Hayden, and we looked at, should we be charging for some of the things? Should we not be charging? What should we be charging? And so on. So we kind of looked at everything, and then what we did is we did make a change and said that with the softball diamonds, let's just do a per hour rate, which is what we did. And then if you wanted maintenance, just prior to that first game, then what you would do is there'd be an additional fee for that maintenance, which is basically dragging the diamonds, chalking them, having the bases out, and so on. So with, for whatever reason, some miscommunication and so on, for 2017 and 2018, what we did do is we had not communicated charges to Mike, so we left him still pay for the $360, which is basically a day rate is what we were having for each of the diamonds. And you can see we used to do a number of different things for softball teams, trying to get them to host tournaments. It was just a per diamond per day rate, included maintenance. And then if you did, 6 diamonds, you got them for the price of 4. If you did 4 diamonds, you got them for the price of 3. So we did have some breaks. With it, there was, some conversation with Mr. Bryant last year about, hey, fees might increase so on. He came in, he reserved for 2019, and he got the email receipt and saw $1,860, which is a lot more than $360. So he did have a conversation with Katie Cole and with Joshua Thompson, and with myself in regards to this. So with it, we mentioned to him that, we do not have the authority, because the fees are set by the commission. We don't have the authority just to say, hey, we're going to give you this break. So thus the letter explaining, with it, and he's not opposed to having an increase in the per diamond. And he explains all of that, to you in there. So just, some things to consider. So generally, people have come to the commission in the past and asked for a waiver of fees. And with that, the commission really has never waived fees, okay, rental fees. They may have waived the 10% for concessions and different things, but never for rental fees. Now, last year, when RegBri was in town, you did give a reduction, for the use of the community center. So you did reduce the fees based on what they were wanting to use it for, and so on, and with staff's recommendation. So one of the things that when we redid all these fees, we looked at, and I mentioned in the commission action form, is that for most of our facilities, we do have a day rate. You can rent the softball, or the tennis courts, the sand volleyball courts. We have a day rate. Band shell has a day rate. The auditorium has a day rate. For whatever reason, when we looked at this, I think just an oversight, we did not put a day rate, in here. So with this, we gave you several options or alternatives, with that. You could, alternative one was a reservation fee of $50 per diamond per day. And that would include maintenance, but we're not suggesting that it's 6 diamonds for the price of 4 or 4 for the price of 3, just a straight $50 per diamond. Alternative 2 would be keeping the 2019 fees the same as 2018, which would mean, if he has 12 diamonds over the 2 days, he would pay $360, dollars. 3 would be approve a per diamond per day reservation fee and amount set by the commission, including maintenance. If you felt that there was a different fee was a good idea. Alternative 4 would just deny the request, which if it denied the request, then the fees that Mr. Bryant would pay would be the $1,860. Or 5, you could refer back to staff. With 5, you basically would be doing almost the same thing as 4, because you're not meeting again until September, and his tournament is at the end of August. So looking at all of this, and it does bring in a number of teams from outside of the community, and there's some other benefits to the community with a tournament like this. We feel staff's recommended action is alternative number 1. To do an increase on the per diamond per day fee, charge the $50. And then what we will do is we have had some conversation with all of our rental fees, that wondering we aren't getting a lot of rentals in some of our facilities. So one of the things, not so much the auditorium and the band shell, but with our athletic facilities, we have talked, we really need just to take a look and maybe reduce some of those fees and make it a little bit more enticing for people to either host tournaments or do, other activities and so on. So that's something, whatever that comes of that, we'll bring that to you, in January with other fees and charges. So right now, staff's recommended action is alternative number 1. So, any questions?
I'll motion to
Oh.
approve.
Mr. Bryant is in the audience. I don't know if he wants to say any words about the tournament, and we all read your letter. If you would like, you don't have to. So.
Hi, my name is Mike Bryant. I live at 2516 Woodview Drive in Ames. not only do I have a couple bad knees, I've developed a bad hip, so I'm really moving slow. Yeah, I think the letter's fairly self-explanatory. If I hadn't been doing this for 35 years and wasn't doing it for a charitable cause, if you will, I probably wouldn't even be doing it anymore because I've long passed the softball days. I am a bit of a dinosaur, and the tournament thing has kind of dwindled. Softball, sadly for me to say, I played since I was 15 until I got hurt in 2007. So whatever that math is, 40 some years, I think. But it's not as popular as it was. But I can literally tell you, there are teams that come to this thing that this is literally their vacation. They call me in January to make sure what the dates are going to be. And so I'm afraid that if it quits for a year, then it's always hard to get it started back up again. But yeah, I don't expect things to stay the same. Surprises at my age usually aren't good. But as I say now, but I'm in the fourth quarter of life. Don't need to save my timeouts. But yeah, I appreciate any differences that you can come up with to help me, because it's just more money that's going to go to MDA. And Dave Schubert started at the fire department the same year I did. Dave and I were very good friends. Developed Lou Gehrig's and Lynn Christian. We did a lot of help with him, like putting in window air conditioners in and out in the spring and the fall after he was, disabled. So those are just a couple of the personal causes for me of why it means a lot. There's a lot of people that receive muscular dystrophy benefits around. We used to do a fill the boot drive, but we can't do that anymore in Ames. And so this is kind of one of the alternatives. We have a fish fry, we have a golf outing, we have a softball tournament. We try to come up with other things to still raise money for muscular dystrophy. But with that, I just want to also thank the commission for their time. Been involved with a lot of organizations over a lot of years, and it is a big time commitment. And I understand you get put into some no-win situations at time, but do appreciate your time and effort and consideration for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeremy, did you have a motion?
Yeah, thank you for
Thank you.
work on this. That's a really good effort. Yeah, I'll motion option one, alternative one.
Okay, we have a motion for alternative one. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any other discussion?
I do think that we need to look at increasing fees in general just cost of living increases. But the problem with not increasing them for so long and then like all of a sudden we need to catch up is a situation like this. And that is pretty shocking. So if you do consider, I would like to see us consider how much we are charging for rental based on other communities similar to us and just see where we are. I think it's wise to consider, can we get more rentals if it's a lower cost? But I agree with the alternative one now, but we should look into that for the future.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, the motion on the table is to approve alternative one for a reservation fee of $50 per diamond per day, including maintenance. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries. All right, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Mike. And the next item is just really an update, parkland acquisitions. So since the last time that we met, City Council did accept the 5 acres at the old Edwards School site from the school district. So as use as a park. So we have begun mowing it. We've put out picnic table, trash receptacle, and our forester is already looking at doing some work there in the fall and winter time, some things that need to be done. And we have had conversations with the neighbors in regards to a design and so on. So that we'll be bringing more information to you, but that is now an additional 5 acres to the City of Ames Park system. And then just on Tuesday evening, the city council accepted from the Sunset Ridge Property Owners Association, 1.3 acre parcel to be used for a park as well. So we're actually moving forward with that and hopefully to get some work done on that park this year. So that's another acre plus, to the park system. So it brings our total parks up to, what is it, Joshua?
38.
38. So number of parks, 38 and probably pushing about 1,230 acres.
Almost 1,230. Yep.
Yep, somewhere in that neighborhood. So just wanted to give you an update and thanks for support on that, and thanks to the city council for accepting those parcels of land for the park system. I know the neighbors in both situations are very happy with that.
Can I ask a related question just about parks in general? Has there ever been discussion about mapping all of the parks and then including that on the website? I don't see a park, like there's a portal for each park, but you don't see like the city of Ames with each park. And are you looking at me like that because it exists and I haven't found it, or?
Well, it's kind of two things. We have a map that's in our guide. Is it readily accessible on our website? Probably. It probably could be a little more.
Everybody looks to Katie.
No, but
The city map is a part of Public Works.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
But
have
it
those
doesn't-
GIS maps that have
Right.
different layers because they have the bike path layer and the
Right.
construction layer. I wonder if there could be a park layer.
yeah,
I don't know. So
we can get that done easily.
okay,
that would be.
I don't know if
think-
it'll be clickable to take you to that park.
We can make it clickable.
Okay,
It,
okay.
It's really pretty easy to do that.
Okay,
I think that would be a valuable resource
Yeah.
in case anyone cares.
No. If
We've had
one
we've had
person is looking
requests,
for it, then
so-
I'm sure
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
others that would be looking for the same thing.
Yep.
So
yeah, I mean that's a great thing to have because it's readily updated. So when you do get, it's not like you have to print a whole new set of maps. Like you can just add the new land. So
Yeah, the bike map and path maps are the big bike and path maps are very popular.
Mhm.
I think if we could invest in something like that.
well, even like with the next printing of those, you could just put the parks on them too, or a list of the parks because it's a lot of the same,
Absolutely.
audience. So
Perfect. Thank you.
If you need help, let me know.
cool. All right.
okay. All right. The next item is the capital improvement plan process and timeline. So I sent out just the kind of a timeline for you to look at, and in with tonight with August 15th is just just an agenda item to discuss this process. But then just a couple other dates. September 12th, we have done a public input session, and it's not always well attended. From our standpoint, we'd love to have 50 people there giving us ideas and so on. But generally, we've had anywhere from 3 to maybe 10, people. But even if we have a small amount, we still get valuable information, from those individuals. So we're proposing to host a public session on the evening of September 12th here at City Hall, and we'll get that information out, and people will have the opportunity to bring their ideas, to that meeting. Then on September 19th at the regular Parks and Recreation Commission, then what we'll do is we'll get to you ahead of time. And again, with the capital improvement plan, this is funded through local option sales tax dollars. And again, we have a 5-year plan right now. Remember, City Council, when they adopt a plan, they only allocate funding for year 1 of the plan. So generally what happens is year 2, then for next year, year 2 becomes year 1, year 3 becomes year 2, and so on. And then if you're filling in with new projects, those go into year 5. So now occasionally what happens is something may come up like it did for this year. We had a number of projects and we actually had to push back projects on some of them so we could put in things that kind of came up that we weren't expecting and so we could get them fixed. So really it's not necessarily kind of starting from scratch. We'll take that skeleton years 2 through 5 and then move it up a year and then add other things based on maybe some staff ideas on things that we hear from the public. And then obviously if there's anything that the commission wants to share as well. So that's just, kind of the process, how we work with the capital improvement plan or the CIP. So September 19th, what we'll do is we'll give you all those ideas. All right, here's what the plan looks like. The current plan. Here's the ideas that we've heard, ideas that we've come up with staff. We'll share all that with you. So on the 19th, we'll be looking for direction from the commission to help us put that draft plan together. Then in October, staff will meet with the city manager and sometimes the finance department, to just look at projects. Sometimes we may tour some different projects if the city manager isn't quite sure, what we're looking at or wanting to do. And then November, we continue with that. And then we put together a draft plan. And then on December 5th, the commission would meet with the city manager and staff, kind of go through, all right, here's the plan, here's, what the estimated costs are. And then the city manager usually at that time has an idea of how much local option sales tax money will be for each of the future years or estimated and say, all right, here's about how much the Parks and Recreation is going to get. And say, hey, I don't think he's ever come to us and said, we have a lot more than what you're thinking. So what else do you want to add? I've never heard that, but I'll be ready for a surprise if that happens. Generally what we go in there with and kind of do with the draft, it's, hey, we should be able to do this. But again, council has final decision on all the projects. So there'll be an opportunity in December to have that conversation. If funding is tight, he may ask the commission to prioritize. If you had to cut out something, what would it be? If you had to move something or delay something, what would it be? So that's part of that discussion as well. And then January 16th at the regular Parks and Recreation Commission meeting, we'll give you all right, here's kind of the not necessarily final, but what we're going to want to take to city council, and you'll make a recommendation to city council to approve the CIP as presented. We'll do that to council on January 21st. January 28th, they do have a public hearing that people can make comments on the CIP, and then February 11th, it's actually approved by city council. So that's kind of the process. Now, some of you were through this last year. Some of you are new to it. We've made some changes over the last couple of years to make it a little bit better for, commission to hear input and to get feedback. So any comments, questions, concerns?
I think it's gone well the last couple of years.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Nothing else?
Okay.
All right. And then, just a couple of, project updates, the Healthy Life Center. So we've been, doing educational sessions. We do have 3 more sessions planned, which one is Wednesday, August 28th at 6 p.m. And these are all at the Ames Public Library. We have another one on Thursday, August 29th at 4 p.m. at the Ames Public Library. And then we have one September 4th at 7 p.m. at the library. So we try to just do some different times. And, it's in a couple weeks leading up to the September 10th vote. And we do have people that, still are asking questions. I get phone calls every week, people asking more details. Hey, I've heard this. Did a couple of sessions today, and a couple of people, came up and said, "Hey, I've been hearing this, I've been hearing that," and sometimes it's misinformation. So really encouraged. I did bring, extra brochures along too. So if commissioners, if you want to take some with you, so when you talk to people, if you don't have any, share, the information. So it's really with that, and really there is a friends group that has formed, and they're trying to, to get people out to vote, and really our role as staff is really trying to share the information and just give them as much information and educate them as well as possible. And sometimes I remember having, it was about a month ago, I had probably a half-hour conversation, maybe in 45 minutes with an individual. And when she got done, she said, "Well, I think I'm still going to vote no." And I said, "Well, that's your choice, but I really appreciate you calling and getting information." But then there's a lot of people who say, "Hey, I wasn't sure, or I was thinking no, but now with all the information, I think I'm going to support it." So what we really ask for the public is get yourself educated, come to a session if you don't know a lot about it, or give us a call. Talk to somebody on the friends group. Talk to one of the commissioners if the public knows you, and just have as much conversation and really just become educated before making a choice. That's what we really want to do. But we have had a lot of overwhelming support with the sessions, and a lot of positive things going on.
So when again is the Healthy Life Center at the Ames Public Library event going down?
So August 28th at 6 p.m.,
August 20th.
August 29th at 4 p.m.,
Okay.
or September 4th at 7 p.m.
And that's going to be, will that be uploaded onto the city website for people?
Yep. I know Katie just sent something out this week in regards to everybody that we have in our database. It is on the website. In addition to that, polling information is now available. That's on the city's website as well. If you go to cityofames.org/Healthy Life Center, or if you just go to City of Ames website and do a search for Healthy Life Center, you can get to that information.
Right.
And one of the things with this, there are multiple polling locations. And with this one, you can go to any polling location and cast your vote. You do not have to go to a specific one, which I think will help a lot of people as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, that's all on the website also.
Because I know I have encountered the pushback against the Healthy Life Center. Just a few people like on Facebook or whatever, they're just kind of concerned about the tax cost,
Yeah.
taxpayer costs. And just today, I was driving and I saw a little billboard on the back of a bus,
Yeah.
from an organization here in town that is very outwardly against the idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with with it, there I know there's several things because there's been some mailers that have gone out as well, and one is about the $400,000 deficit, that is projected for the center to have in year one, and it talks about it could be higher, than 400,000. On the flip side, it could be less. As well. And one of the things also that we tell people as part of the budget is that 300,000 is going into a capital replacement plan. And that was one of the other comments on the flyer was that there will be maybe some other city services will be affected by, or funding won't be available for others. Well, the whole idea of it is that put the 300,000 away each year. So then when improvements are needed, a new roof or windows or equipment, the money is already there in a fund to replace. If we didn't have that fund and we had to come up with the money, then we would have to either bond, or council would have to make some decisions as to whether or not maybe something gets funded or not funded. So that was another thing, with that in regards to, Jeremy, with the taxes, again, for people that may be watching and aren't familiar with it or don't have the information. So it's a $49 million project, and already there's $20 million at the table, either through philanthropic efforts, through the partnerships bringing money. Mary Greeley, $7 million, Heartland Senior Services for 3.5, Story County for 2 million. The philanthropic was 5.5. City of Ames has 2 million through a bequest and some other available funds. So $20 million is already on the table for this. The balance is the bond referendum for September 10th is for that 29 million. And if, you know, the city were just even to do the aquatic center portion of it, it would be roughly about $19 million. So really for an additional 10 million, the city would get a $49 million facility. It's $10 million more than the 19 if it was for just an aquatic center. But for that 29 million, yeah, the tax implications based on $100,000 of assessed evaluation, $44 for a residential per 100,000. So if you have a $100,000 home, it's $44, 88 if you have a $200,000 home, and so on. You know, for commercial and industrial, it's $70 per 100,000 of assessed valuation. So it works the same way. And that $44 or $70 per 100,000, you know, that does will be repaying the debt of the 29 million that we'll borrow for the construction of it, and for the bond, you know, we'll borrow 49. Well, not 49 because we have 29 or 20 million there, but it also does offset, you know, the operational deficit that the city will have to do also. So,
And you said August 29th at what time again?
it's August 28th at 6 p.m.
Okay.
August 29th at 4 p.m.
Okay.
and then September 4th at 7 p.m.
Got
And
it.
those are all at the library.
Right.
Yeah, and we would, you know, we recommend that if you have not been to a session, and I know there's been some things on Facebook and some good healthy dialogue, you know, back and forth, and people on both sides of the project, but just going back and forth and really trying to educate people with the information. So yeah, if you don't know anything about it or don't have a lot of information, we do really encourage you to come to one of these sessions, so you can again make an informed decision.
Who would be the best person to direct like others to if they had questions or concerns? Just because I also had a friend like ask me a lot of questions and I can answer some, but then he got to like the money part and I was like, I don't know. So who'd be,
Yeah,
like, the
with
best
that, just always you can direct them to me.
Okay.
You know, or if any of commissioners, do any of you feel comfortable or versed enough to answer questions? Dwayne, yes. Yeah. Okay, so you can always just direct them to me.
Okay. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Thank you.
So, go ahead.
Oh, no.
Is there, I know we got an email back on Tuesday, and I guess you said Katie did this. Is there going to be something that says a little bit more informative about what you just talked about with what the bond goes for, because I know one of the big beefs that they've been saying is it's irresponsible spending, having a $400,000 deficit. But if there's a $300 recapture for capital improvement, that really doesn't bode well for their argument on this group that's coming up. And basically the email that we got was just, this is the dates of the bonds, this is where you can vote, and then this is your three sessions were there. But are you going to put any other information about just, this is the numbers of this? Kind of like we've seen in other times?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
You know, with that, the commission, do you feel that's a good idea?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you could always make a motion, direct staff to do something. You know, if you,
There was a video posted explaining that from the Friends group to Nancy Carroll explained that same thing, but I think it's only on Facebook, so I don't know if that's getting out.
Yeah, it's only on their Facebook page.
yeah,
And are you going to, I know at one time there was some discussion about having the city's television station stop playing the band shell and put this on more often so that people can actually go to that and see these.
Yeah, because we did.
Watch a video of
we
what
did-
you're going to do?
Yeah, because we did several videos. I know Nancy Carroll and I did a video. I think Brian Dieter and Steve Shanker did a video. And so yeah, I can talk to Channel 12 about maybe having those on more. Yeah. And one of the things also, if you go to the website, there is an FAQ, on the website that has a lot of questions that we get over and over again. And that's why we put them on there. And that really gives you some good information as well if you don't know a lot about the project. Yeah.
Is Iowa State going to allow you to put a sign up over on the site now that the Board of Regents have approved the lease, or and that the city council has approved accepting the lease? You can put like possible
Yeah.
or vote.
Well, and that's and again, that's one of the things that on city property we generally don't put,
It's not your property yet.
yes signs. But if we're leasing it, I'm not sure we do that, but I'll take a look at that.
Because that was one of the questions we had early on, is that there's not a lot of people really understand where it's going.
Yeah. Oh, as far as just a sign saying this is where it would go.
Yes.
All right.
And then the date to vote.
Yep. That we could get done. Yep. Anything else on the Healthy Life Center? Again, just, and like I said, I have extra brochures. You can take them with you to tonight and just keep sharing with as many people as you can. And yeah, direct them to me if they have questions that you can't answer. So the next one, the Miracle Park. If you saw last Saturday at Innis Grove, we had groundbreaking. Sarah was there. Ed Moran, former commissioner, was there. And really, I went there. I was expecting that maybe we'd get about 25, maybe 50 people on the outside, and there was well over 100
Nice.
people there. Just for and it was donors, it was community members, it was people from the Kiwanis Action Club who have disabilities. There's just everybody there. There are county representatives, or there's council representatives, or there's commission representatives. So it was just a really good cross section. So the construction fencing is up, and they should start moving equipment in either this week or next week, and then they'll start doing the grading. The equipment has already been ordered. So that's, I think, due for delivery right around October 1st.
Wow.
And then, they'll be starting to put equipment up when they're ready and starting pouring concrete, and the whole project will get finished next spring. Again, I think I mentioned that to you with the surfacing and air and surface temperatures needed. So at some point next either late spring, early summer, we'll have a dedication and open that up, and I can just imagine that there'll be a lot of people there for that event. So the foundation is doing a great job. They are now over $2 million with pledged, either received or funds either received or pledged. And I know yesterday they had a presentation with the CAT grant that they submitted for $200,000. It's a community attraction and tourism grant. So I think that went well, and they should get notice sometime in the next month or so with that. So things are going well, and they're looking at and hoping that they will be able to put all the things that were kind of cut to get down to a point for them to get started, to be able to get all those things back into the project. So it's going very well. Okay. And it's just exciting. Everybody there on Saturday was just so excited to do the groundbreaking and seeing something happening and things. So it's a good thing. Any questions on that one? Okay. Innis Grove restroom. We've been doing, design on that, and just wanted to share, some designs, with you that, what we're kind of settling on. So if Josh wants to put so this will be the new restroom. This will be the new restroom that will go to the north side of the tennis courts, real close to the Miracle League field. We'll also be able to serve the sand volleyball courts and shagbark shelter and the playground. So it's two gender neutral or universal type restrooms. There will be storage and mechanical room on the backside. One of the things with the glass, up on the top of the limestone, I think we mentioned to you another time in regards to at Brookside, we're putting in skylights, and then with the lighting, so that if somebody is in there at night, the lights that will shine the skylight, police come by, they'll be able to see it. This will be the same thing, but the glass will be lit up if somebody is in there at that time. One of the other things that we're doing in here is automatic door locks. So the doors will open at 6 a.m. and they'll close at 10:30 p.m. Now, one of the things that we heard early on as we were looking at this at a restroom here, especially from the families with children and family members with disabilities, is you've got to have changing facilities in these restrooms. And they've got to be adequate to be able to change an adult. There are a lot of caregivers that have adult family members that with disabilities. So the next one, what we did is we actually went out. We took the architects and we went out to ChildServe, and we met with them. And Kate, and I can't remember Kate's last name, but she's the director out there. She was awesome. Showed us what they have and what they really like. It's kind of a web type of harness. You lay people on, and it's electronic, and you can move it up and down. And Joshua and I kind of looked and said, this is not going to work in a in a park setting. What else do you have? So she showed us some other changing tables that they had, and so we really took all that information, and then the architects came up with something like this. There's been a few iterations to it, but one of the things they talked about is you got to be careful so somebody can't roll off, especially if they're a little anxious. Thus, you can see the chamfered edges, a little bit of channel. If the head is on the upside, feet down on the lower side, that whole thing slopes. So for a cleaning standpoint, it all drains, towards the feet. The wider edge on this side, say, hey, you need a table, you need something, you need a shelf. So we talked about it, and we kind of created a wider edge. So not only for transition, but it also, once you have person on there to be changed, you can use that as a table and lay out some of the things that you need. So what we did is we then gave Kate the pictures along with the dimensions and everything, and their staff. She showed it with all their staff, got feedback, and they came back and they were ecstatic. They said, we like it. Some of the things that they were saying, well, could you put a glove dispenser? Could you put a bag dispenser? How about what's the like a sanitizer? But what was the other thing that they wanted for odor? So just something that would spray, some type
Scent
of
dispenser.
thing. Yeah, something, there. Put a hook so somebody could put their purse or their bag, hang it. So I said to her, all these things that seem like, kind of peripheral things. So what was their actual comment about the table? And she said, they were ecstatic. They just loved it. They liked it. They liked the height of it. To be able to get somebody up there to change. And they said in the main or the most comments that she got, most people said it's just going to be nice that we won't have to change somebody on the floor. So I think it's just it's a good story, reaching out to people who serve, clients with disabilities. And so just wanted to show that to you. And that's kind of going to be the final product. And then the restroom along Duff Avenue with that one, we're going to give it just a facelift. We're keeping it actually. So we are going to put some limestone in there, kind of tie it all together. Both the facilities will have metal roofs. They'll be brown in color because we have brown shingles on the shelters. So that kind of ties in. So this, hopefully we're going to take it to the Development Review Committee. Thanks, Jeremy. Take it to the Development Review Committee, hopefully at the end of the month and get their feedback. And then we'll get this out to bid in July. So just wanted to share. You may ask about cost. We have right now between these two and then decommissioning the septic at the back one by Shagbark, we had $375,000 for the new one, for this one, and for architect fees. It comes out to just about 330, and we think we'll probably need about 25,000 or so, maybe a little bit more, to run a sanitary and do a lift station, for the new one. So if bids all come in, great. We should actually have enough money for this project. So, yep. Any questions on that one?
Will these have the benches in them as well?
Benches inside?
Yeah.
The changing tables?
No.
Yeah, no.
No,
Okay.
no, these are actually going to still be, the other ones, the new one's going to be universal. These are right now are male and female, and we're going to keep this one male and female. So they each have, I think, three
Yes.
fixtures, in each one, maybe 2 or 3. So this will still be a male and female. Yep. All right. So, and if we move on to correspondence, we obviously had the correspondence from Mike Bryant, which we shared with the commission action form. The other correspondence I think you all received, and then I received something similar, to that from some Victoria Millett in regards to figure freestyle. And just to give you, and that's at the ice arena, wanting some consistent or adequate and consistent, figure free times, and so on. So I did have a phone conversation for just under an hour with Victoria and then Maggie Murphy in regards to that. Have met with staff a couple of times, and we are now, I think on May the 27th of this month, we're actually going to have a face-to-face meeting with Victoria and Maggie, and then Kelly Apollonia, the ice arena manager, and myself will sit down and just kind of give them some more updates on what we find and what we think we can do. Now, one of the things that did tell them is at this stage of the game right now, we already have all of our contracts for ice, so, and that's really, people have some in the morning time, but really with ISU men's hockey from about 2:00 until sometimes 2 a.m., 3 a.m., we already have ice, their contracted ice time, for Ames Minor Hockey Association, ISU women's hockey, men's hockey, figure skating club. And then we try to put some open skate times in there as much as we can, stick and puck, figure free. So we're going to give them some options when we meet with them at the end of the month and say, all right, here's what we're looking for, or here's what we have. And we'll kind of go from there. Now there is a group of skaters that Ames Figure Skating Club. They did not renew ice time for Wednesday and Friday mornings. And there is a group of figure skaters that did rent Wednesday mornings, for the entire time from September to into April, for skating lessons and so on. Friday mornings are still open as well. We do have some opportunities on some Sundays, although Apollonia just mentioned to me yesterday that there is a group from Des Moines that wasn't getting adequate ice time, and they just rented Sunday mornings from 8 to 9 o'clock from September all the way to April. And one of the things, and I did mention this to them, and we'll have more conversation, for us, renting ice, that's from a business standpoint. Renting ice is what we really try to do, because if we have to bring staff in and we get 5, 6, 7 people coming in for an open skate, we lose money, or barely break even. Now we can do that during the weekday if Apollonia or Brook are there, because they're there anyways, and to have 5, 6, 7, 8 people for a noon skate, we're already there. The place is open. We're not paying additional staff to do that. So those are all things that we'll have more conversation, with them. If we have staff already there and it's kind of between two rentals, that's a good opportunity to maybe plug in some figure free as well. So if you have any additional questions, on that, let me know.
And
But
from what I understood from her letter was that the Ames Figure Skating Committee or Association, they were trying to limit the free skating time to kind of make it to kind of increase memberships in their organization. Was that something? I think I read that in her email.
yeah, she did say that. And we did have some conversation about that, but that's user group, which is Ames Figure Skating Club. Obviously we want them to be successful and so on, but we're not going to have a user group dictate, when we have free skate or not free skate. And I did communicate that, to them, And the one thing that was mentioned in the correspondence as well is about tax dollars going to, the ice arena and so on, and just for everybody at home with the ice arena and Homewood Golf Course. Those are two enterprise operations, and no property tax dollars go to those operations. So whatever expenses we have, need to be covered by the revenue through ice rentals, through admission fees, concessions, skate rentals, all of that stuff. That's revenue has to cover expenses. And we do have an operational fund balance, if we have revenue over expenses, that increases. When we have expenses over revenues, that decreases. So there are no property tax dollars that go to that. So any other questions, comments on it? Okay. So monthly report, just if you have questions or if you want to highlight anything, Joshua.
All right.
No comment. I mean,
Okay. No comment. Any commission member comments? I have one. I had a question from a community member about the status of the Brookside bathroom
Restroom?
renovation. Yeah.
And so we just last week got the final plans and specifications from the architect, and what we are looking at doing is taking those plans and specifications to council on the 27th and have them okay that. And we just are finalizing, Joshua and I are finalizing the funding. There's a little bit of funding that we need to find, but we'll take that to council on the 27th, and they approve the plans and specifications. It will go out to bid. And then I believe we're looking, because it's so late in the year, not always the optimal time, I think we're giving them through either May 30th or June 30th to
late
complete
spring. Yep.
Okay.
the project.
So it would probably be an early spring 2020
Yeah, maybe.
starting or
Well, no, they may start,
Okay.
this year, because there are some things that, putting on a new roof, is something, if you get some good days in the
Sure.
winter, they could do that. They could do some demolition, with it. They may decide, hey, let's take some time. Let's do the demo, and then maybe let's get the plumbing and the flooring back in, the concrete back in, and then they can do some of the other work, made during the winter time.
Okay.
So it could start, I think the best case scenario, something could be happening this late this fall. And the best case scenario would be it'd be open, sometime in the spring. I think the worst case scenario, it's starting the spring and then open maybe early summer.
Okay, great.
So-
Thank you.
Yep.
I just also wanted to say, I know Nancy offered some free fitness classes a couple weeks ago in representing the Park and Rec Month. And I know I myself and another friend attended some classes and that we had never tried before and
Yeah.
had a lot of fun and was able to also try that new Boga Fit class
Yeah.
that I think starts next week and signed up for that. And I really, really enjoyed that class. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Boga Fit, for those of you at home or even here that don't know it, it's in the water, and the Boga Fit mats are like a stand-up paddle board,
Okay.
but they're tethered, to the side of the pool, and you can sit on them, you can stand on them, you can do different exercises. I think part of the thing they did. Some planks, some strength exercises, did some yoga, I think at the end. So
Yeah.
that was well received, and there are classes that are going to be held now. So
And you don't need to be a very good swimmer. I mean, some of the boards were in a little deeper water, but if you fell in, you were still able to touch. There was some other boards in the shallow as well. So,
and that would be just something to communicate with your instructor.
right.
If you have that, and we have flotation belts, and we have other things too that individuals could use if that's a concern.
Any other comments? All right. Gonna motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.